All right, political analyst Harald Pakendorf joins us now for more on this. Thank you very much for your time, Harald. And
Good evening.
reports are telling us that, John Steenhuisen won't seek to be re-elected. But the tweet that he sent out seemingly saying, well, do not believe the speculation, he could announce something else.
I'm surprised that he would just simply resign. I would have thought as the DA is moving into a position where they'll do very well in the local government elections, what they don't want is a leadership change under pressure. So there must be something else. It can't just be what we've just heard, that it is because of the firing of a cabinet minister and replacing me with somebody else, and the credit card possibility, which was cleared up by the DA. There must be something else, something deeper. One of the things which struck me is that the DA, although it is in a government of national unity, one still has the impression, and this might be because of 30 years of ANC rule, that the ANC runs the country. It doesn't, of course. But the DA's voice seems to have been not as, doesn't come across as well as it thought it would. It's almost a quiet voice, and I think that's part of what we see. Is that and my guess is that the DA is saying Steenhuisen just went too far. He must be stronger in the government of national unity.
Yeah, and some reports are suggesting that he won't just leave, right? If he leaves, he wants to retain his position as cabinet minister. Does it strike you as someone who'd easily, give up being the DA leader or not want to be re-elected and simply just keep a cabinet position?
I would, if you go back to his history, remember he comes from the KwaZulu-Natal where he made his mark. Hard-working man, very loyal to the DA. I don't think he'll do anything which will hurt the DA as such. I would expect him to want to stay in Parliament and to stay on as cabinet minister. It is, in fact, for the president of the country to appoint cabinet ministers. So the DA can ask him, Mr. Ramaphosa, to remove him, but that would be going a bit far. So I would expect that in the short term he would certainly stay on. Although he's in a precarious position, he's Minister of Agriculture, but not top of the popularity list with farmers at the moment.
You speak about KwaZulu-Natal, and I wonder, because some reports that we're seeing today are suggesting that Jordan Hill-Lewis says he won't go for that leadership role unless he has solid backing, and solid backing being the provinces of Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal. Talk to us about that.
Well, it looks as if the people who might take over from Steenhuisen all come from the Cape. It's the Cape Town mayor, Western Province leader. But their problem is they have nobody knows them outside of the Western Cape. So they would have to do something to build up his image up here in Gauteng. I think that, and you go back a little, he also said not too long ago that he won't stand, if Steenhuisen stands, he won't go against him. But now, if Steenhuisen does actually go, and it's speculation, but it certainly looks as if he will go, then he will come forward, and he's very young, he's only 39, but he's done very well administratively. I read reports that he's liked by the donors of the party. He's a centrist the DA has a very liberal wing and a very centrist wing, and a slightly more right-wing one. He's a centrist guy, so he would appeal to a wide variety of DA supporters and people in the leadership echelon. I don't know whether we can say that he has any support in Gauteng or in KwaZulu-Natal. We don't know him up here. We actually have to look it up and say, who is the mayor of Cape Town again?
Yeah, and speaking of not knowing whether or not he has support, in Gauteng or even outside of the Western Cape. The DA itself is very concerned about what's happening in the Western Cape with, you know, the PA recently making inroads in a recent by-election, right? Would it look like maybe they are focusing on things that are outside rather than solidifying their base, which is the Western Cape, before even fielding a candidate that would appeal to other provinces?
I think they can do both. They should be able to do both if they ever aspire to being the major party in the country, which they might be in 29, not the way they're going at the moment. I mean, how can you have a leadership struggle months before a local government election where you're said to do very well? You just tarnish your image. It's not the image that people have of the DA. That's what should worry them. And you're right about the PA, but I think that's not long-lasting. I don't think there's a philosophy there which people go to. They go because of the personality. And also it's a very colored party. So in that area, the DA has certainly lost some support.
Mm. And I want us, you know, to talk about, you know, the DA itself. When you look at issues like in KwaZulu-Natal, for example, do you not think that perhaps they could field another a candidate outside of Jordan Hill-Lewis? What is the potential of the DA and the next leadership? What does that look like?
You make a very important point, or you're asking an important question, because the answer to that is in people's mind, the DA is a white party. It actually is a completely non-racial party. It has more black than white supporters. But the leadership just seems to be all white. So just as a move of, I don't know how good he is, but Solly Malatsi is certainly a likable chap. Whether he's any good, I don't know. But he would be, if they allow him to be more than just a black face, but actually a man in his own right, I think he would be the guy I'd go for. But I don't know him well enough. But you need somebody who's prepared to stand up and say, this is the way we do it, and that's it.
Yeah, and others would say there is the likes of Chris Pappas. I mean, he appeals to different races, and he's more popular than Jordan Hill-Lewis.
He is in KwaZulu-Natal, yeah, but I don't know if anybody... You mentioned the name. I think none of your listeners have ever heard of him, except of those in KwaZulu-Natal. So they have a problem. If one can say it's democratic if we don't know who will take over as a leader. But it could also mean that there is no clear succession line now in the DA. And I await with tension what will happen tomorrow morning, because I can't believe it's just about firing a minister and replacing him with somebody else and a credit card. That's not big enough to foul the nest of your party.
Yeah, and in light of the speculation around John Steenhuisen, you know, not seeking to be re-elected, I mean, let's talk about the kind of image that will send, because he's said to be going back to where he started his politics, KwaZulu-Natal, a province that is considered to be key, you know, for the Democratic Alliance.
Well, he might surprise us and say, I'm going back to KZN and I want to be the mayor of Durban or the leader of the Legislative Assembly. That's possible. That's where he started. That's where he made his name. Whether it's big enough, I don't know. The KwaZulu-Natal party politics are IFP and ANC and a bit of Zuma's people. So I'm not so sure it's a strong place for the DA.
I mean, what does this signal? You know, the possibility of there being, you know, a different leader going into the local government elections for the DA itself. What does it look like? We know it's looking to claw back support in key provinces.
Well, the DA should be worried because, as I said a little earlier, it's bad for their image. Their image is one of strong, decisive leadership, administratively doing a brilliant job in Cape Town and in the Western Cape. And now suddenly you have these stories about ministers fighting on a very personal level. Do people do their job properly? Was money misspent? It almost sounds like the ANC. And people don't remember the big picture, they suddenly think the DA is not what it said it was going to be.
Yeah.
And you're right in that they have been losing support on the ground. But so has the ANC, of course. And the smaller parties have come up.
Yeah, and of course, a new leader. Let's talk about the possibilities of a new leader in the Democratic Alliance. What would that look like for the government of national unity and other arrangements that the DA has in provinces?
It's interesting that the problem the DA faces now is a DA problem. It has nothing to do with the government of national unity.
Yeah.
Except, of course, as I said earlier, that the DA's voice is very low in the government of national unity. I mean, it's one of Steenhuisen's problems at the moment with his department is that there are new restrictions or new rules on how you can export agricultural product. And his excuse is, well, they were there before I became minister. But his party supporters expect him to stand up and say, let's change the rules. And if you don't have somebody who can do that sort of strong thing, I would think we would have tension, to put it mildly, in the government of national unity.
Harald Pakendorf, thank you very much for your time. He is a political analyst helping us make sense of what's to come. You know that John Steenhuisen, DA leader, is going to have that briefing in KwaZulu-Natal at 10 o'clock tomorrow. So we'll be watching that one very, very close. But